What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kevin Hoop Show. We've got UFC 287 in the books. Israel Adesanya coming out with the W. And honestly, I think it was a little unexpected. But if you're new here, real quick, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got new videos coming out every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and live watch parties on Saturdays for the fights. Either way, let's get into it. Israel Adesanya coming out with the W. It was the second time these guys fought in the UFC, the fourth time they fought total because of the two kickboxing matches they had previously. A lot of people had Israel Adesanya winning one of those kickboxing matches, but hey, it is what it is. He got his due yesterday. Well, not really yesterday, but Saturday. He got his fucking revenge, got his due, got what he deserved, I think, and got finally a little bit of input for all the work that he's been putting in. He finally got something out of it for this guy constantly just following him everywhere he fucking went, basically. You know, he's over in kickboxing and he loses him in that sport, and then he goes to the UFC, comes over and whoops his ass in the UFC, and a lot of people, I think, counted him out for this fight. I mean, just from my comments and from a lot of what I was seeing on Twitter, a lot of people seem to be rooting for Alex Pereira, and I think it was earned. I think it was an earned prediction. I think a lot of people, you know, thought that he looked better in the first fight and that knockout power was always going to be there, and that was probably going to happen in the second fight, especially just if you look at it on paper. The dude's 3-0 against Israel Adesanya, so in the fourth one, why would anything different happen? But I think a big thing that people weren't taking into account was, one, Israel Adesanya won, quote unquote, the first one, at least in everybody else's eyes except the judges. And in the UFC fight, Israel Adesanya, to me, in my eyes, was winning the majority of that fight until that fifth round. And I think if he at least finished the fifth round, I think he would have won the fight no matter what. But either way, I think that Israel Adesanya has finally put in enough work and finally figured out Alex Pereira, I think, and that's really where I think he's going to expand as a fighter. You know, Alex Pereira has beat Israel Adesanya 2 times. He's had Israel Adesanya's number somewhat, and I think that might have been in the back of Israel Adesanya's mind a little bit, especially after that last loss to him in the UFC. And I think that this win will not only expand him as a fighter, which I think it already has, it will make him grow as a fighter, but I think that we'll really see him look better in other fights after this. And whether it's another rematch with Alex Pereira, whether it's Khamzat Chimaev, I've heard rumors about that happening, so who knows what that could fucking entail. But either way, I think that Israel Adesanya is going to have some tough opponents in the future. I think, you know, he's already cleared the division once, and I think a lot of up-and-coming guys are going to be finally trying to take the belt from him. I know Dricus du Plessis talking a lot of shit, and we have not seen those two fight yet. That would be a big matchup, especially for Dricus du Plessis. I don't know if he's quite there yet, but either way, I think that, you know, it would be somewhat of a decent fight to watch, and especially with the beef that these two have, I think it would be a good storyline. Now, as it goes on to the beef, I know that Dricus du Plessis has came out a lot and said he represents all of Africa or something along the lines of that, where all Africans support him. This is what he said word for word. "So you won't say my name? That's smart. You better not. I don't need your airtime at all. I have my whole continent of Africa behind me. Go enjoy your spectacular victory at home in New Zealand. We are Africa. We fear nothing." Just kind of looks like he's trying to represent the whole continent of Africa. Obviously, there's some conflict between that, with Israel Adesanya being Nigerian and coming from Nigeria, I believe. So with that, I don't really want to get into, you know, certain things on the left, certain things on the right, how, you know, people are whatever, but I just know that there's some beef between the two, and I do think that Israel Adesanya does have some ground to stand on when it comes to things politically. But either way, that's all I'm going to say on it. I don't want to fucking get canceled or get a strike already. I'm just fucking starting on YouTube. Like, we're just growing here. We don't need anything like that right now. But either way, I think that the future of both of these fighters is going to be something to watch. I think Israel Adesanya is going to defend this belt even more, and whether it's a rematch between these two, which I was asking a lot of my chat and I didn't get too many answers, but I do think that it is a big possibility that we see these guys fight a third time in the UFC. You've seen it multiple times before, and maybe we don't see it right away. Maybe we see Alex Pereira have a big fight with maybe a guy like Robert Whittaker or, you know, Jared Cannonier. Guys like at the top of this division right now, maybe Marvin Vettori, Paulo Costa. There's a lot of different avenues I think Alex Pereira can have, or maybe he goes up to 205. Who knows? Maybe he fights Jamal Hill. That was a big thing he was talking about when he was the champ, but let's see what he's saying when he doesn't have the belt around his waist anymore. Also, just want to give a shout out to Gilbert Burns and Jorge Masvidal. Gilbert Burns got the win over Jorge Masvidal, and Jorge Masvidal ended up retiring at the end of the night, which I think it was up in the air already beforehand, and it ended up, he lost in his hometown. It was the perfect setting. He was talking about he has 50 fights or 50 wins, something like that, and just an awesome career from Jorge Masvidal. I think he had an awesome year in 2019, was probably the most exciting fighter to watch, and, I just think that he's a really genuine good guy at heart. I saw that he had his kids at the arena, and I just think, from somewhere that I'm sure that was a bad place to come from. I don't think anybody just does fighting in someone's backyard, even though it's Kimbo Slice. It's still, to get in certain situations, I'm sure he's been through some shit. He talks about how his dad's from Cuba and how he had to come over here on boat. I'm sure he didn't have the easiest life. And I'm sure that, becoming a millionaire, like he said, through fighting, it's absolutely awesome to see that. And I'm glad that he had the career that he did. I hope he does well after this retirement. Not like he needs me to, say good luck, but either way, shout out to Jorge Masvidal for an awesome career. Now I want to actually get into a little bit of the nitty gritty of the fight. I didn't really talk about what happened in round one, what happened in round two in the second fight between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. So first round, Israel Adesanya didn't look too well. A lot of people had Alex Pereira, I think, pretty good in the scorecards after that round one. And honestly, it was definitely earned. He had a lot of leg kicks, a lot of good power shots, or at least significant strikes, if you want to call them that. And I think compared to Izzy, he was just looking like the better fighter overall. He looked like after this title win, it looks like he was coming out even better. And coming from someone that's, been watching the UFC for a while, I was kind of surprised. I was like, damn, Izzy really doesn't look like himself. Then in the second round, I think he started to pick it up a little bit. He looked a little better, was starting to land more shots and starting to throw more. And then, like how we all saw, Israel Adesanya kind of looks like he gets his leg hurt a little bit, kind of like comes in after he gets leg kicked, turtles up, gets like left, right from Alex Pereira, comes out with a big overhand right, stuns Pereira, hits him with another right, hits him with a left on the way down, completely makes Alex Pereira go the fuck to sleep. Absolutely crazy, unexpected. I definitely didn't think it was going to be a knockout like that, or a knockout that fast, especially going to Israel Adesanya. If anything, I thought that Alex Pereira was going to have the knockout. And, when's the last time we've seen Israel Adesanya have a knockout like that? I think he's almost kind of been known as the champ, at least, just a guy that is looking really good when it comes to hitting people. Maybe they're not having the most power behind it, but he's definitely good at making people look stupid. Seeing that in the second round of the fight, after seeing Pereira do so well in the first, I was surprised. At least I was jumping up and down. Oh, Izzy with a big right. Izzy gets him. Izzy got him. It was an absolutely fantastic night. It was a great reaction. The watch party was phenomenal. We had guys like Paul, Utah, Truth, Quinto. I know I'm probably forgetting a few. Miles came by. Tim was constantly throwing comedy in the chat. Shout out to Tim. But shout out to everyone that comes to the watch parties. We really appreciate it. It's always a good time. And UFC 287 in general was an absolutely phenomenal card to watch. For those of you that haven't tuned into the watch parties or don't know much about what I'm talking about right now, we can go live every single Saturday whenever there's a UFC fight night or watch party. We even do some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grappling events. Hopefully we get some ADCCs in there this year, but at least the trials. I know the big ADCC event doesn't happen until 2024, but either the trials, either way, I want to get some more grappling events in there. Let me know what you guys also want to see on the channel when it comes to YouTube videos. I've got a little something special that Truth gave me the idea for that, has been a rumor, been talked about. So tune in this Friday for that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video if you enjoyed it. And with that, have a great fucking day.